Okay, here we go. This is the first time I've done one of these, so bear with me, and we'll see if we can get through this. This is TechNet number 20, July 7th, 2025. My call sign is Kilo Echo 5, Golf India Papa, and tonight we're talking about ham radio, fox hunting, and radio direction finding. There are many different uses that this could be used for, and radio direction finding is about as old as radio itself. I'm going to briefly touch on the history of radio direction finding, talk about ham radio fox hunting, and then I will open it up for questions. And I will pause occasionally through this, so if someone needs to interrupt me, please do so. All right, so there's a couple of different things that play into radio direction finding. Angle of arrival, which has to do with the bearing, so to speak, or angle on the horizontal plane. The signal strength and time of arrival, particularly if you are using multiple antennas, time of arrival can become important. Radio waves travel at a constant speed. And next is triangulation technique. Triangulation is typically a better methodology than a single direction finding and then going towards the source. All right. Early uses of radio direction finding. Early uses of radio direction finding included aircraft navigation, maritime navigation, search and rescue, though for the most part that has been replaced with beacons that include GPS signal transmission. By the mid to late 1940s, radio direction finding was in very high use by militaries around the world, and they still use it today for a number of different purposes. Wildlife tracking. Wildlife management has used RDF for tracking animals that were fitted with radio transponders, though again this has mostly been replaced by GPS these days. Do I have any questions here before I move on?
Just a comment.
Go ahead with your comment.
I was just going to make a statement that it was also used in like the late 80s, early 90s, old paging systems. Some of the old tube types would start oscillating and go up into the business band. So it was used quite often to find transmitters that had went off frequency to locate where they're at, who they belong to, and get them fixed to stop interfering with hams, police departments and stuff of that nature.
And locating interference is still a very good use of radio direction finding today. In fact, I've used it more than once for that purpose. All right, let's move on. The biggest fail of radio direction finding. And I'm sure some of you will recognize the photo here if you're on the Zoom. It is a photo of Amelia Earhart sitting in her aircraft before she was to complete her trans-Pacific flight, which she failed to do. She was supposed to locate a Navy ship standing off of the island that she was to refuel at using radio direction finding. And unfortunately, it did not work out, most likely due to some technical difficulties. The type of direction finding antenna that she used was a loop antenna with a separate sense antenna to eliminate the duality of the loop antenna. All right, let's jump into ham radio fox hunting. All right, the main objective in ham radio fox hunting is to locate one or more hidden transmitters, generally within a set time frame. These can be on a small scale, on foot. I've done it as small as a city park. They can be done mobile. I've got a mobile fox hunt planned for July 19th that we'll talk about more a little later. You can do large area fox hunts with either a single or multiple hidden transmitters. I have heard tale of this happening over hundreds of acres of land. You can also do fox hunting where the hidden transmitter is moving. That increases the difficulty dramatically. Fox hunting encourages the development of skills such as navigation, teamwork, and effective radio direction finding. All right, the types of equipment and tools we use in fox hunting. Typically, handheld radios are used in combination with directional antennas. Sometimes very specialized radio direction finding receivers are used. This is typically where you find what's called Doppler or time of arrival measurements in a specialized receiver using specialized software. And then to some degree, maps and compasses can be used when you're navigating large areas or large fox hunts. For those of you not on the Zoom, I've got a few photos of a handheld Yagi made out of a tape measure, a loop antenna, as well as a radio direction finding Doppler kit. So that's the three photos I have here on the screen for those of you that are on Zoom. Do I have any questions about any of this equipment or anything I've covered so far?
I'm okay with just a general question. I guess if it's appropriate, or we can leave it to the end.
Oh, go ahead with the question.
Yeah, good overview, Anthony, so far. Just I did fox hunts many years ago. It's been a while. I'm really looking forward to getting an update here and hopefully participating on the 19th. Can you say how it's changed, maybe? Or maybe is that appropriate or somebody else? Has it changed much over the years? Is just kind of curious in equipment and the techniques.
Well, I have only been in ham radio for about 20 years, so I don't know that I can accurately speak to how it has changed. The principles behind radio direction finding haven't changed since the beginning of radio. How fox hunting has changed, I don't really know. I know that there are still small-scale fox hunts run in the Houston region. I know that there is a national level fox hunting competition that happens. I think it's every couple of years. But how it has changed, I really don't know. I'll defer to anyone else that might be on frequency.
Comment. N5Z, are you here?
N5ZRU, go ahead.
I would say primarily the cost of some of the equipment has come down in price due to SDR technology. There is a direction finding device out there, about $500 now, and you would have been looking at 10 to 12,000, say 10 years ago for that same capability. But some of the technology has got better as far as that goes. Very affordable, $500 to $600. Good software. Uses a Raspberry Pi for the computing, and you use a web interface to see the data from it, and it can actually do, as long as the Raspberry Pi has internet access, it can do a map overlay, and it does some really good mathematical calculations to give a fairly decent pinpoint location on the map where it has predetermined where it believes the signal's at there, and the more triangulation you do, the more accurate that gets. And I've seen people dial in and within a few minutes of where a signal is coming from, especially if it's a continuous signal there. That would be my comment. N5Z, are you here?
All right, well, there you go. Raspberry Pi, solution to at least half the problems in the computer world, right? All right, let me move on. Basic operation. This is fairly straightforward. You listen for the hidden transmitter on the specific frequency and try to locate which direction the signal comes from. The two things that I can advise for people wanting to do fox hunting is attenuation, attenuation, attenuation. You can never have too much attenuation. The other thing is to use triangulation and use antenna systems that have very sharp nulls. We have seen in the previous fox hunts that I've hosted that people get within anywhere from 100 to down to 50 feet, and then they no longer have enough attenuation to determine which direction the signal is coming from. So that can be a key thing. All right. This feels like it was kind of a short presentation. Do I have any questions about fox hunting or radio direction finding before I get into the event announcement?
W5CPO with a question.
W5CPO, go ahead.
The loop antenna that you showed there, does it have sharp nulls or not?
This loop antenna that's shown here is what's called a shielded loop antenna, and it does have very sharp nulls. However, it has two of them, one to each face of the loop. So you would have to either use a second sense antenna to remove one of the two nulls, or some other way determine which of the two directions the signal is from.
I appreciate that. I tried one of those. I've got one sitting here, and it was rather confusing as to which direction. I couldn't tell if it was from front or back, or it was just hard to tell.
My advice for loop antenna would be to take your bearing towards the signal. You'll have two because you don't know which direction it's from. And then move 90 degrees to that line and take another set of bearings. And that should eliminate one of the two directions.
Makes sense. Appreciate it.
Any other questions?
K7RTV.
K7RTV.
I came in a little late. Was that bottom one the Kraken with the 4 different antennas, or was that something else on your pictures? That, yeah, bottom there.
So this is not the Kraken device. This is probably something that predates the Kraken, but it is a very similar system. The Kraken would be the newer, lower cost option. And if I remember right, the Kraken does run on a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, Roger. Thank you very much. K7RTV.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. No other questions heard. The event, I spoke about it a little while ago in this presentation. July 19th, there will be a mobile fox hunt in northwest quadrant of Houston, Texas. July 19th at 10 a.m., the fox will begin transmitting on 14656, and the boundaries for this fox hunt is I-10 West, the 610 Loop, and I-45 North. And of course, you can reach out to me to get all of this information if you need it in writing or otherwise need any information. There are prizes for the mobile fox hunt.
Crossroads Ham Radio Club's monthly Tech Net session. I sure do want to give a big thanks to Anthony for that great presentation and that information. I've been on a few fox hunts before, and they're a lot of fun. So this should be a good event coming up. At this time, we'll ask for any other questions that are relevant to tonight's presentation. Please come with your call sign now.
K5LK, got a question about the mobile fox hunt, a little more details how that might operate. Maybe I missed it, but I assume you have a navigator and a driver. Is that how it works?
So for this mobile fox hunt, the fox will be stationary. The hunters hunting the fox will have to be mobile because of the large area. The fox will transmit on set time intervals. 5 minutes may be about right. 5 minutes may be a little too long. If I need to make it shorter, I can. But that's how it'll work. The fox will be stationary and transmitting on set time intervals, and the hunters will get to go hunting.
This is KJ5ADO on the W5LCR repeater system with the Crossroads Ham Radio Club monthly Tech Net. Are there any other questions about the presentation? If you also have a question just related to amateur radio in general, you can go ahead and ask those now as well.
KJ5EQQ with a question.
Go ahead with your question, please.
Thanks, Brenda. My question is, do you start at a common place, or is it, do you start just at a certain time for the fox hunt? And is there, could you give us a website that is available for us to look at that and possibly register?
There is no website to register at. There is no common starting point. The Fox will begin transmitting at 10 a.m. on July 19th, and the frequency is 14656.
Okay, and I think you did mention that you could they could reach out to you if they had any other further questions. So I'm assuming your email is good on QRZ. Is that correct, Anthony?
Yes, my email is good on QRZ, and it is my call sign at ARRL.net.
All right, KJ5EQQ, does that answer your question?
It does indeed. Thank you, Brenda. This is KJ5EQQ.
Well, thank you for the great question. Are there any other questions related to tonight's presentation, or just technical aspects in general? Come now with your question.
KI5HVF with a question.
Aaron?
So just to clarify, I think you said I-10 West, 45 North, and the 610 loop. So basically the Heights area, Anthony, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, sir. Greater Heights, northwest quadrant of the inner loop.
All right. Thank you very much. KI5HVF, back to that.
All right. Well, thank you for that question. Are there any other tech-related questions out there this evening? All right, well, with nothing else heard, we are going to wrap up tonight's Tech Net RF session. Remember that we will stay on Zoom for a rag chew session after the net. Before closing the net, I want to give everyone an opportunity to get checked in. So if you've not already checked in through early check-in, Zoom, or NetLogger, then now is your opportunity to do so. Please give your call sign slowly and phonetically twice. Call now.
Kilo 5, Papa Delta Mike. Kilo 5, Papa Delta Mike.
All right, anyone else?
Kilo Echo 7 Romeo, Tango Bravo.
This is November 5 Lima, November Kilo, N5LNK.
This is KG5IAZ, Kilo Golf 5 India Alpha Zulu.
Anyone else?
This is N5TZV Brian on Echolink.
All right, Brian, thanks for checking in tonight. You're sounding good. Okay, then. I want to thank everyone that participated in tonight's TechNet number 20. Also, we want to give a big thanks to all the TechNet team members who helped in making tonight's net a success. If you have any questions regarding the TechNet or would like to join the TechNet team, you can send an email to info@crhrc.org. Again, that's info@crhrc.org. Again, please note that many of us will remain in the Zoom session for a general rag chew. I will now close the RF session of the Crossroads Ham Radio Club's monthly TechNet. This is Kilo Juliet 5, Alpha Delta Oscar, returning the repeaters back to normal radio use. 7-3, good night, and God bless.
You have been listening to a TechNet presentation of the Crossroads Ham Radio Club. For more information on this club, go to www.crhrc.org. For information on upcoming TechNets, go to technet.crhrc.org.